Hello there, pal. My name is John, and my job today is to share with you 4 simple rules to accomplish any of your flexibility goals without really trying. Because I did it, my students are doing it, and I believe you can do it too, even if you're an adult like me, and even if you're not naturally flexible. First, a clarification here. What I mean by not really trying is that it doesn't have to feel like work. My stretching routine just feels like a part of my life that I value, that I enjoy, that I even look forward to, and so the work gets done without a repetitive, conscious effort. The trying is something that happens at the beginning while we establish the habit, but becomes effortless in the long term. So I'm sorry to say that there's no magical supplement on sale here. You will actually have to do some hard work, but it's a lot less work than you might think. So without further ado, the rules. I hope you enjoyed those high-budget special effects. Rule number 1 is to raise the floor, not the ceiling. So take a moment and imagine the best-case scenario of a week of stretching. What is the most work you could possibly complete in 1 week to work towards a flexibility goal? Maybe that would be 1 hour of gentle stretching every single morning, and then an additional 15 minutes of focused flexibility in the evenings. So think of that as the ceiling of the amount of work you could complete. And now completely throw that out the window and forget about it, because not one of you watching actually wants to complete that much work just to improve their flexibility. Instead, let's imagine the floor. Well, it's probably what you're doing right now. Absolutely nothing. We can't do any less than nothing. So we just want to raise the floor. You could start by doing just 1 5-minute stretching session per week. That sounds pretty easy, right? Well, yeah, it is really easy. So start with that, and then after a month or 2, once you've done that consistently, raise the floor to 2 5-minute sessions a week. What we want is for our worst case scenario, where everything goes wrong, to still be enough to be stimulating flexibility gains and driving us forward towards those goals. We don't want to be taking literal steps backwards every couple of weeks when life gets busy. So we raise the floor to a level that's just enough to give you those measurable flexibility gains to keep you working towards your goals, and then we just keep it there until you hit them. Most of you will probably find after a bit of trial and error that this is 2 to 3, 5 to 7 minute stretching sessions per week. Rule number 2 is to like this video so that other everyday athletes like you can find this video. No, I'm just kidding. Rule number 2 is efficiency. Oh my God, why did I use duct tape? Rule number 2 is efficiency is easier. So we want to make the individual working sessions as efficient as possible at stimulating flexibility gains. So what are some possible ways we could program our stretching? Well, in popular culture, gymnastics and yoga kind of has the most flexible populations that I know of. Those methods are both undoubtedly very effective, but from what I can tell, they're not very efficient because people doing them tend to practice very frequently and for very long durations. So instead, what I teach people to do is called high-intensity stretching. From a technical standpoint, it's basically just a combination of PNF stretching, ballistic stretching, and loaded stretching, but I prefer the name high-intensity because it evokes why we're doing it. The purpose of each session is to deliver an intense flexibility stimulus quickly, and then spend the rest of our week just recovering and getting more flexible while we live our lives. Your quick sessions will feel like a workout, not relaxing at all. And it's precisely because it feels like a workout that it delivers lasting results like workouts do. So in the short term, your individual sessions will feel harder, but because they're shorter and done less frequently, it'll take less motivation to complete them, it'll be easier to schedule into your busy life, and thus you'll be able to keep them a priority and actually do them in the long term. Rule number 3 is to find your purpose. A key aspect of not feeling like you're trying too hard is to be deeply motivated about what you're actually doing. Do you really need to try to hang out with your friends? Do you need to try to show up at work every day? Do you really need to try to smash 6 beers on a Friday night with the boys? Okay, maybe that last one isn't important as I used to think it was. But the point here is that there are things in our lives that we have convinced ourselves are valuable, and they add something to our lives such that we will prioritize them no matter what. So we want to turn flexibility into one of those things. So why is flexibility meaningful to you? While you take a moment to type that into the comments section, I will go first. I want to remove as many limitations as possible in my movement, training, and sporting endeavors. I know that by stretching for just 5 minutes a few times a week, I can completely remove these limitations over time. This makes me feel better all the time and just experience less pain and friction in the activities of daily life. Over time, it helps me perform better in all of the hobbies that I love. So I deeply believe that it's something worth doing, and I'm gonna do it forever. So figure out what that is for you and then think about it every time you stretch. Think about it when you're not stretching. When you start to deeply connect your habit to the outcome, it becomes much more easy to prioritize. We want to really emphasize the mental and neural connection between the stretching and what stretching does for you. It lets you live in a more capable, healthy, and mobile body. Rule number 4 is smell the roses. That one was actually kind of good. So the bad news is that you do actually have to stretch. So whatever you're working on, be it the splits, the pancake, a back bend, you are gonna have to spend some time near your end range of motion in those specific positions working hard. The good news is that over time, if you're paying attention and not just going through the motions, you can really learn to love the sensations and the process itself, the act of stretching itself. But at the beginning, you might not love it and you still have to get the work done. So how do we make it fun? Again, I'll go first. I like to treat myself to a big old glass of thick milk every time I stretch. I like to listen to hard-ass, banging-ass tunes while I'm stretching. I also like to stretch in the evening after a sunset run. My body's already warm and loosey-goosey. I've got the endorphins of a runner's high going on. I'm already sweaty and wearing flexible clothing, so I can just get to work with no hesitation. What moves you might be different than what moves me. Maybe you like to stretch in the morning, in the garden, in the sunlight, while you're drinking your coffee. Maybe you like to stretch in the evening during the first 5 minutes of a series you watch every week. Find whatever makes it bearable for you and lean into that. If you follow these rules, here's what will start to happen to you. You'll start to actually look forward to the stretching sessions themselves because they won't be this scary thing. They'll just be a fun part of your week that you've been crushing for the past few months and you're going to be crushing for the next few months. You'll love the benefits of actually being more flexible, so you'll deeply believe in the process and make it a priority. You'll be confident that your time is well spent because you'll have started with a low volume, high intensity practice and you can't really imagine practically doing any less. In this way, you will have spent all of your trying on developing a system that will inevitably bring you to your goals rather than on the goals themselves. You'll simply get the work done week in and week out, and after a few months, you'll be kicking yourself for not starting sooner. Drop any questions or future topic requests in the comments below, and I will do my best to get back to them. If this video does really well, I'll be able to invest in some less abrasive tape for the next video like this. Grab your free stretching starter pack below for detailed information on how exactly to get started in your flexibility journey, and watch any of the videos in this Finding Flexibility playlist to learn more. Thank you for watching. Be kind to your body and mind this week. Peace.